show this year. Love it.
We come over to the Adelaide show here every year.
I'm really excited to be competing today.
Well, we're enjoying a beautiful day here at the 244th Royal Adelaide Show, and what an occasion it is. I'm here with the voice of show jumping and a man that has in fact competed in this very competition innumerable times. Tad McLean, what have we got going on here this afternoon?
Oh, we have got a world-class competition. We've got the Princess Royal World Cup. It's an international competition. Anyone that goes clear in the first round gets half a certificate of competency to go to the Tokyo Olympics. And how the World Cups work around Australia, if you win the league, the Pacific League, if you run 1 or 2, you get a chance to go to Europe for the World Cup final. So it's a very, very prestigious event. You will not see an event bigger than this anywhere in the world.
Well, we're in the middle of the season at the moment. We've had Gatton, Caboolture, the Waratah in Sydney, now the Royal Adelaide World Cup qualifier. And we've got some big names coming out here, 19 competitors, people that have been very successful here before. But the heritage with the wonderful people at Princess Royal Station dates all the way back to 1845. A very proud family business known for their Angus breeding, their organic wine production, their lamb production, and wonderful to see Simon Rowe here today.
Yeah, they do a great job. They'll send buyers out to your property to buy the stock from your farm, organise the transport, and they run a very good state-of-the-art feedlot. I've been up there quite a few times, and they do a very, very grand job.
Now, you and I are standing here in front of the Princess Royal Station for two reasons. The jump here, one, to show you the wonderful sponsors of this event, but also to show you the size of these jumps. For the boys and girls and mums and dads joining us on the live stream or here around the grounds, these are significant jumps, aren't they?
Yeah, well, to qualify for the games, you have to have a couple of verticals at 1.60 m. So we've got those. It's quite a technical track. We've got a treble, we've got doubles, we've got a real interesting optional fence over the other side from Princess Royal with the wall on one side and the rails on the other. Riders have to make the decision which side they jump, whether they jump the wall or whether they jump the rail, and it's possible that they could make the wrong choice, but they're very, very good riders and very, very good horses. This is a world-class event.
Speaking of world-class, we have a world-class course designer here, Louis Connick, all the way from the Netherlands. His first time here in Australia. He's actually just flown in fresh out of the European Championships. Wonderful to have him here. And you and I are going to do a flyover and a walkthrough of this course in a few moments' time. But it is only fitting that we start this event in the most official of ways.
Yeah, OK, gentlemen, stand up, please. Remove your hats. We're going to have the girls, Ella and Sienna, doing the national anthem. They are my great nieces, and they're great-great-uncle was here.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage our radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this Commonwealth of ours renowned of all the lands. For those who've come across the seas, we've boundless plains to share. With courage let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
How was that?
Oh, that was really awesome, yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so proud. That was fantastic. Fantastic. All right, I'll see you after, and you better make sure you see Uncle Terry.
Well, a very talented family you have there. Tad McLean, congratulations to those young ladies, and a wonderful way to get our World Cup qualifier underway here today. Now, we've actually done a digital flyover of the course. We're going to walk it in a moment's time, but I wondered, Tad, you've competed out here on numerous occasions. Could you take our viewers at home and those who are able to watch the flyover at the moment through this course today?
Yeah, well, it's a very, very, very interesting course, and Fence 1 is testing right from the start. A lot of course builders will build, in lesser classes, will build a spread fence to get you going and into the class, but Louis built a vertical. Then we go to a box, which is over yonder, number 2. Then around to another box parallel, number 3. Then another vertical. At the moment, we've got the fences quite mixed up. We've got equal amounts of verticals and boxes. And then we're going to turn around over the triple bar, down to another vertical, moving along around the course, over fence 8, which is a box parallel, and then 9A and 9B, a combination, and 9C, it's a treble, so 3 obstacles in a row. Then around over 9, 10, and then 11, which is quite a big fence. And then to finish over 12A, 12B, down to the Princess Royal fence with a windmill on the side, which could be a bit spooky with the water under it. And then over fence 13. Like Louis said, it's a long course. It will be a fair test of fitness, and it will be a very, very talented horse and rider combination that win this class.
All right, well, Tad McLean, we've brought the high-tech contemporary version of the course walk now through the digital flyover, but let's do the traditional old walk of the course and take us through it in terms of where the complexities will be, where the big decisions will be made, and what Louis Connex has built for us here today.
Yeah, he's done a fabulous job. What we have to do, we have to take off. Show jumping is a real science, and people that have spent their life with horses doing different disciplines will tell you that show jumping and training show jumpers is the hardest thing you will ever do with a horse. They have to be well trained, obedient, and a show jumper has to be half tiger, where he's brave enough to leave the ground and jump the fence, and half pussycat, where he's careful enough to leave the fence up. So what the riders will do here, they'll work out which way they're going to come down to this first fence. They'll probably do a right-hand canter because fence 2's on the right rein, but fence 1, it's a whopper. It's a fair vertical. You have to take off the height of the fence from the fence. If you take off too far back, you'll land on it. If you get in too close, you'll knock it over. So you have to have the horse in the right canter that suits this fence.
So there's a big challenge right up front at fence number 1.
There is no soft patches in this course. It's a world-class competition.
So we're making our way around now to the spread jump number 2. You're saying they'll do a right-hand canter around to this?
Yeah, now what you have to be careful of as a rider is that you don't duck in, you have to go straight. So they'll have to jump this from the middle. So see the green part in the middle, the green patches, you have to jump straight over them. Now, because it's a spread, you have to have enough impulsion to get over the back rail. So riders, from when they've jumped that first fence, they will increase the canter, a bit more rhythm over the box parallel. Then they have to keep the rhythm up as they're going along to fence 3, which is on a fairly right-hand turn. So they'll keep the canter up. And this is a big fence, the Country Show fence, put here by the Country Show Society, the Agricultural Society's Council of South Australia fence. It's a whopper. You won't be able to dawdle down to this on a backward stride. You'll have to get moving over that. And then round to the vertical fence 4. A lot of horses all the horses in this track have never seen this fence before because it's brand new. Looks pretty, doesn't it?
It is gorgeous. I wanted to tell actually the boys and girls and mums and dads watching us at the moment a little about the wonderful SA Country Shows movement. There's 48 shows across South Australia. Of course, the preeminent event is here at the Royal Adelaide Show, but they're from Gawler to Tanunda. They're on the Eyre Peninsula and the Fleurieu Peninsula, and there's a wonderful, brilliant country show movement here. So they get to the brand new vertical at number 4.
Yeah, the brand new vertical. Now, curving line to fence 5. What they'll do, well, what the riders would have done, they would have walked this, and it'll probably walk it'll probably walk 7 strides. I step a little short because I'm a bit athletically challenged, but it'll probably walk 7 strides. Some riders might bow out a bit further and go in 8, but if they do that, they're going to be going a bit slow. The course is walk for time. You have to finish the course inside the time allowed.
So once they're over the Royal Adelaide Show fence, the big, beautiful blue and yellow fence, they'll make their way around to the broad fence at number 6.
Now, once again, you can't afford to cut the corner. This is a big triple bar. Now, at the first fence in the course, I said that you had to take off the height of the fence from the fence. You can't do that here. What we have to do, or what the riders have to do, and this is where they're so skilled, where they are so clever and so accurate, they have to take off the height of this rail from the fence. So they have to get this close so they can make the back rail. And have a look at that wall behind us. It's massive.
It is significant, isn't it? Well, as we make our way to the wall at number 7, the Princess Royal Station wall, there is an option here for our riders.
Yeah, so what will happen here, because it's a big spread fence, they'll probably land out about here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Yeah, and they'll probably take 8 strides. Now, this is where riders have got to be clever. If they land a long way out from that triple bar, they'll have to take a hold down to here. If they land steep, they'll have to ride forward. Very tricky. Like I said, show jumping is a real science.
Well, they'll do a hairpin bend then around to our jump at number 8.
Yep, what they do. Oh, have a look at the size of that. Now, what do? Do you cut in and make sure you're on the time, or do you go outside? I would say most riders will go outside, but they're pretty brave individuals, some of these, and they're really good jockeys, so some of them might even come here and turn inside. That's a massive fence.
Well, they're certainly going to be tested here today by our judge from the Netherlands, who will actually be the technical advisor at the Tokyo Olympics. Louis Connex. So they'll make their way through to 9ABC.
Have a look at the spread of this off a short corner. It's a very formidable fence. Quite tough. Now we go down to the treble. Have a look at it. Looks like one big staircase. All the fences are the same colour, the same equipment, so you want a very, very careful horse to jump clear down here. I don't know whether I'm imagining this, but it seems to be getting bigger as I go around.
Either we're sinking in the ground or these jumps are getting higher.
Yeah, no, this is a fair track. The people of Adelaide are going to be treated to a fabulous competition here today. Now, we have to walk this. Yeah, so it's probably 25, 26 feet in there, which is nice and roomy. Very important when you walk the course that you don't look at the fences, you look at the ground. You want to measure the ground. So if I look up at the fence, I'm probably going to step short. So if I look down.
So this exact movement that Tad is doing now is
12
what all of our
threes,
competitors will
36,
have done prior.
2-stride distance. So that's a pretty tough treble.
So they'll make their way through the combination there at 9 to a quick turn around to 10.
Yeah, it's a fair sort of a turn back, but they've got to be careful. They can't afford to fall in and cut in and lose the rhythm in the canter. They've got to keep out. Once again, big fence. Over fence 10. Then we go round to the Crows fence. I wasn't going to talk about football, but there it is. The Crows colours. 11A, 11B. Looks like a one-strider. That is a massive fence. The Princess Royal windmill with the tank. That's 5 strides. Then we turn right again and over fence 13. So well, it's a very, very formidable track.
Now, Tad McLean, thank you so much for walking us around this course. We need to get off now because our riders are about to get on the course. The first of riders will be out here in a moment. But I've managed to dig up some archival footage of competitions here, the World Cup and previous events back at Royal Adelaide Show. And I wondered if you might tell us what our viewers at home are seeing on their screen.
Yeah, well, these are the old high jumping competitions. They were fabulous events. We've had a few of them over the years, and under the rules in the old days, that wasn't any sort of a fault. The fence just didn't get put up. They just kept putting the fences up until they got higher and higher and higher, and people got 3 attempts at each height, and if you couldn't get over in 3 attempts, you had to retire from the competition. The record for jumping a wall here at Adelaide is 7 foot, inch and a quarter, jumped by the great Art Utendale. Here we've got the start of Olympic jumping way back. And this is a very attractive grey horse and a rider with the hairstyle of the day. I probably should know who it is, but I think it was a little bit before my time even. Yep. 3, 2.
Well, we're about to get underway here in just a moment's time with our Royal Adelaide Show World Cup event. We've got 19 competitors here. Many have travelled from a long way away. We've got competitors here from Toowoomba, from Murrin-Bateman in New South Wales, from Victoria, and lots of local champions too. We've got young competitors, very experienced competitors, people that have made their mark all over the sport of show jumping, but many here that are out here for the first time as well. So we've got the draw that's been brought through to us, and we'll bring you all the action as it comes to hand.
Yeah, it's going to be a great competition, and they've got some fabulous horses and fabulous riders. A warm-up, of course, a very important part of show jumping. These riders know their horses so well. They know.
It's a fantastic show this year, love it.
We come over to the Adelaide show here every year.
I'm really excited to be competing today.
Let's celebrate the state.
The people.
The magic.
The memories.
The bright lights and high rides.
The sparkling eyes.
Over 2 full weekends.
The Royal Adelaide Show. The show of a lifetime. Pre-purchase tickets and save. theshow.com.au.
If Russell doesn't get to the first fence in 45 seconds, the clock will start without him and he'll have to make up a bit of time. But a great rider, and this horse has been jumping well. Came from Queensland originally, wanted to be a show jumper, so he moved down to Victoria where they do more jumping, and he's done a grand job, made a fantastic show jumping career. Oh, nicely over the first. Heads down to the Princess Royal fence. This horse hasn't seen this fence before. Oh, he's jumped it beautiful. Great rider, this bloke. He rides his horses nice and soft and sympathetic. He likes his horses and his horses like him. Over the rail part. Be interested to see how many people go the rails or how many people go the wall. Now the treble. This is tough.
Well, this combination won the Aquas Grand Prix last year, and it's a Dutch-bred horse, Dupreece. Of course, Russell Johnston coming to us from Whittlesea in Victoria. An Olympian, the 1996 Atlanta Olympics.
A's right. B's right. Got the 5 strides. Oh, little touch there, but it stayed there. It's a massive fence, that one. Oh, what a great round. What an absolute superb piece of riding. That's why he's an Olympian. What a start. No, that was some round. Some round. On course now, Fieldbrook Carunya, nominated by Jeffrey Evans and ridden by Bryony Temby. Bryony's had a good show. She's had a couple of seconds in part 2. And this mare, it's bad luck. Just touches the first. I said it'd be a tough fence to start on. A's right, B's right, C's right. That's how you ride a combination. Only a young girl. She's doing a fantastic job. Oh, she's gone down there in 4 strides. What a brave ride.
Well, this young lady's been the National Young Rider, an SA Junior and Young Rider
Nicely
squad
over the
member.
last, through the finish. A great ride, a great round. I reckon she's had 8 penalties. Here's a local horse, MEC Aston. Nominated by Peter Graham, ridden by Adam Metcalf. And this combination won the World Cup qualifier at the International Horse Trials at Victoria Park. And don't be surprised if he joins Russell Johnstone in a clear round.
Well, Adam's one of those multifaceted equestrian competitors. He's won rider classes, show pony classes, novelty events, even harness classes. He's been competing from a very young age and took a break from equestrian pursuits a few years ago, but clearly enjoying his time and challenges back in the saddle.
Nicely over the first 2. On a pretty good rhythm coming over the first 3.
Well, this combination won the Gully Cup in March this year at the Autumn Showjumping Classic in Mount Pleasant here in South Australia. Last year at this Royal Adelaide show, they won the Part 2.
This horse, quite a good jumper. See why it's won a World Cup. A's right, B's right, rattle C, but it stayed there. And this course being quite a long course, it gets to be a bit of a test of fitness. A's right, B's right. Oh, bad luck. Just looked down at the water, got a little bit distracted, which they can do. 4 faults, but been quite a good ride. Over the last. Just the 4 faults to go into the second round. Horses carry their penalties from the first round into the second round. Still the one clear round, Dupreece and Russell Johnstone. On course now, Diamond B Vermont, nominated by J&R Equestrian and ridden by Jess Stones. And Jess has had a great show.
Hasn't she? Not only has she had a wonderful show in terms of competing, we also managed to give her a microphone for some of our classes early on in the week, and she brought us all of the commentary for Horses in Action. She's a multi-talented lady, one of the most decorated show riders in all of Australia. She's won over 100 royal shows and show horse championships, multiple EA and Grand National and Horse of the Year titles. But also when it comes to a show jumping, she's competed at a World Cup and Grand Prix standard for many years, producing her own horses from unbroken right through. She even spent 3 months in Belgium working over there. And she's placed in World Cups before. This horse that she's on here today, 16-year-old gelding, by Vivant.
You've just got to love this sport. I needed a bit of info. I just went and talked to the course builder. Nothing to add over the first 3. Bad luck. A rail at fence 5. Nobody's jumped the wall yet. I don't think anyone will. I think they'll go for the rails.
This combination placed 11th here in this competition last year.
What a testing treble coming up. A's right, B's right, C's right. Superb ride to the treble.
Well, she's competing out here today against her husband. They've also got their little baby out here at the show as well, alongside a team of 9 horses and a whole staff from J&R Equestrian.
I'm pretty sure that Jess is leading rider of the truck. I think she's ahead of Reese. Made that difficult line to the water tray look easy. Heads to the last. Up and over. Through the finish. Inside the time allowed. Just the 1 rail. 4 jumping penalties. What a great ride.
Well, the next rider out on course, Brooke Dobbin. Corrado, MVNZ. Brooke's a full-time rider and trainer based at Yarra Glen in Victoria. Winner of the World Cup League and multiple World Cup events. An Australian representative. Winner of Grand Prix levels in Australia and overseas. And I know Angela and Ashton and Charlie, the family, will be watching on today.
And Brooke's riding Corrado. And I've watched this horse through the show, and it's better over the bigger fences. So it could go really well in this World Cup. Brooke, a great rider, very competitive. Has competed overseas. Comes from Yarra Valley in Victoria. On a nice rhythm to the first. Gives it a little rub, but it stayed there. You can rub them as long as they stay there. No faults incurred.
Well, he's a big, powerful horse, 17 hands.
And this course proving to be quite a test now for Brooke. 2 down. Be interesting to see how many people get invited back for the second round. A's right, B's right. Oh, brilliantly down the 5-stride line. Heads around now to the last. Nicely over that through the finish. Inside the time allowed, just the 2 rails down for a total of 8 faults. One of my favourite horses on course now, Jack, and one of my favourite riders, Christy Bruin.
There's a lot of long names out there in the show jumping world, but they've kept it simple with Jack.
Yeah, he used to have a prefix in front of his name, and they took it away. And ever since they took the prefix away, he's just gone better and better and better. He didn't like his long name.
Might be a lesson in that. This is Christy Braun, a lady who's been riding horses all of her life. But at the age of 13, said, no, show jumping is the pursuit for me. Broke in this horse, Jack, as a 3-year-old, and Christy has produced this horse. She's won and placed in countless World Cups for over a decade now. This horse has a wonderful jump, and one to keep your eye on. And she, in fact, is the only one to have ever ridden him in competition.
Yes, she's been the state junior champion, state senior champion. She's won all sorts of events. A great rider and a real hard worker. Helps her dad with the racehorses. She hardly ever sits still.
Well, you talked before about this all being part of getting points to qualify for the World Cup, being held next year, I think, in Las Vegas. And the standings as after the 3 events that have been held, Chris Chugg's in the lead at the moment with 45 points, Billy Raymond on 36, Gabrielle Kuna on 34, Clay Simmons on 32. Well, this will be a critical event here today to collect some more points.
Yes, Billy will be looking forward to getting the points. And Jack shows how you jump fence 7, goes to the rail side. Unfortunately, he's had a couple of early ones down. Quite a test of fitness, this track at the end of the week. A's right, B's right, C's right. Oh, another rail. Unfortunately, starting to rack up a few faults now. But she's had a great show with Jack. A's right, B's right. And Christy's decided to retire and save the old horse for another day. Come on, put your hands together. That's smart riding. She knows with 3's rails down, she's probably not going to get into places under any circumstances. Wants to look after her pony and live to fight another day. Very, very smart riding from Christy, a great competitor. On course now, Jessica Pateman. Jessica and her husband Stephen had a winner at the races yesterday. She's won a couple here at the show and a great rider. Very, very brave, works a lot of racehorses as well as show jumpers, done a lot of hacking. She's made a great life out of being an equestrian.
Grew up in Warrnambool, Victoria, the home of jumps racing in Australia. And her career began back in the show ring when she was only 7 years old, spent the years travelling around the country competing. And her love of thoroughbreds started then. And you say now she's very much involved in that racing stable there, Pateman Racing. But this combination here, Jessica Pateman and Celso, were the winners of the Jim Dunn Memorial Cup at Strathalbyn this year. They also placed 3rd at this event, the Royal Adelaide Show in the Part 1.
And Jess's husband, Stephen, I hope he's here today. He is a freak jumping rider. Won all the big ones as a jumps jockey, ridden around the world. So they really know their horses, the Patemans. Going well. Oh, look at that. Great riding. Holds the horse up, keeps it away from the fence. Oh, just idles over that big box parallel, made it look easy. Got to go steady down here. A's right, B's right. Oh, rattle C, but it stays there. This has got the makings of a great round and a great ride. Her riding's just gone from strength to strength. Now this tough line. A's right, B's right. Gets the 5 strides, a little rub, but it stayed there. Hang on, folks, this could be clear round number 2 coming up. It is. Well done. What a great ride. And look at the time. Well inside the time allowed. Champagne jumping here at the show of a lifetime in the Princess Royal World Cup qualifier. What do you reckon, Lindsay? It's unbelievable, isn't it? Too clear.
Certainly is. We're seeing the cream of the show jumping crop compete here at the Royal Adelaide Show, and don't be shy, boys and girls. When you see a clear round, really show them your appreciation. Put your hands together when you see that, because it is a rare and exciting thing.
On course now, Mark Lind from Bugle Rangers in South Australia. Has ridden around the world, ridden in Canada, and jumped a real nice round here in the Part 2 practice event yesterday. And unfortunately, he's had a roll down at fence 2. He's riding his wife's nomination, 6-pack. That'd put you under a lot of pressure riding a horse nominated by your wife. Oh, he's tapped the back rail and it stayed there. What a good horse.
Well, Mark was awarded an Order of Australia medal for his services to equestrian sport just over 10 years ago. He's been competing for more than 40 years as a rider, breeder, volunteer, and his involvement is beyond show jumping, also in the world of dressage, driving and eventing. He was a long-standing chairman of Australia's international 3-day event.
Yeah, that's Mark's father, actually. But not a bad round at all for 6-pack. I've had to get a chair and have a bit of a sit down because I've been jumping the jumps with the riders. I'm a bit worn out.
I think we might have walked a fair few kilometres around that course a moment ago.
Don't mention the stairs. I've been up the stairs a bit this week. On course now. Diamond B. Carla. Hugh Buchanan, the rider from Queensland. Nice horses, the Diamond B horses. So great jumping here. 2 horses with 0 faults to go into the second round penalty free. A few on 4. Interesting to see what the judge decides, how many horses she'll get back for the second round. Nobody's had any time penalties as yet. They've been getting through the time allowed, inside the time allowed. So great to see the time up on the screen. Hugh's riding's impressed me this week. He's ridden quite well. Looks like he knows his job.
Well, they placed ninth here last year. This combination of Diamond B. Carla and Hugh Buchanan.
Oh, he's done the wall. How's that, Adelaide?
Bit of a bravery out of the 26-year-old.
Yes, he's done well. Obviously, the horse is a good wall jumper. Oh, bad luck. He's had a rail there for 4 faults. A's right. B's right. C's right. He came in a bit slow. He did a good job to jump through there. That's why you've just got to love these horses. They do the impossible things. They get the spots they shouldn't take off from, and they do. A's right. No, it's not a rail down, unfortunately. A further 4. Oh, another 4 at the Princess Royal windmill jump. Just the last coming up. Up and over. 2 rails down. Time of 90.92 up there on the big screen. Quite a credible round, just a couple of rails down.
Well, the next rider we're about to see come into the course, James Harvey, Tyrone VDL the horse. James is actually a horse dentist by trade, and it's a profession that takes him all over Victoria and Tasmania. And whilst running his very busy equine dental business, he also spends a lot of times at shows, obviously, with his beautiful team of jumping horses.
Tyrone, of course, a county in Northern Ireland. And James has had a pretty good Adelaide show.
I think this was a horse imported out of the Netherlands.
Yeah, a Dutch horse with an Irish name. It's a great international sport, show jumping.
And this might be his second year competing at a World Cup level.
Jumped the only clear round in one of the classes in the jump off yesterday for a good win. He's had a pretty good show. Oh, good riding there. Kept the horse as straight as a die there at fence 5. Straightness, of course, very important. Just made the back rail of the triple bar. Jumps over fence 7. Great to see so much of the arena being used here.
Well, if you've just joined us online or here at the grounds at the Royal Adelaide Show, you're watching the Princess Royal Station sponsored World Cup qualifier here. And we've got a huge field of very talented show jumping competitors and horses out here currently watching Tyrone VDL on course.
Yeah, James had a bit of a look back there to see if everything was all right. A's right. B's right. Does the 5 strides. 1 to go. This could be clear round number 3 coming up. Come on, James. Yes, he's done it.
Well, that's a nice big round of applause from our crowd here, and hopefully you're cheering online as well. Look, if you are on our live stream, please comment, post, ask a question. We've got the wonderful brains of Tad McLean here. He's been in innumerable World Cups. He did 3 clear rounds here, I think, one year, and we've got his expertise on board. But ask us any question you like. Tell us what you like about what you're seeing. Tell us who you think is going to be our champion this year.
I reckon the way things are looking, we could have 5 or 6 clear rounds in this. It could be an absolute perler of a class. Reece Stone's on course now.
We saw wife Jess out here a few moments ago.
Yeah, Reece under a lot of pressure because Jess has been the rider of the truck this week. Actually, I probably shouldn't mention this, but he broke a collarbone here probably 3 or 4 years ago and rode about 10 days later. They don't come much tougher.
Well, Jess had a baby and rode 9 days later. I think she was riding right up until she had a child.
Yeah, no, they love their horses. They live on them. Yes, he broke his collarbone here at Adelaide Show and he rode at Melbourne 10 days later. Oh, that is tough. Tough as boots.
Well, I know some of Reece's highlights include his success at the Australian Show Jumping Speed Championships, where he won the title there. Also the prestigious Aquas Champions final in 2016. He's been successful in many World Cup events around the country. He's one of the elite riders and has competed internationally from a very young age.
Yeah, great rider. This is a nice horse. This horse is an end tire too. So if you've got a mare sitting in the back paddock, you want to breed a show jumper, he's quite a handy horse.
Well, Tad, we've just had a question come through from YouTube, and the question is, how many will we take through to the second round?
No, well, that's up to the people's judge. The judge will work that out. Jan Golding, she will work that out. There are set rules for it. Look at him jump down that treble. A little rattle at the last element, but clear all the way. complex rules in show jumping and complex judging. Original show jumping events were called leaping contests. Rules are simple: 4 for a roll down, 4 for a refusal. 5 strides, every stride the same length. This has been brilliant riding. These riders are very mentally tough. Look at that, up and over the last. What a great round.
So, David, in answer to your question, it roughly usually ends up being around 25% of the field. So, of course, the safest and most sure way to ensure that is to go within the time allowed and get a clear round, so no rails down. So those competitors will be feeling pretty safe and secure at the moment. It'll be our 4 falters and 8 falters, and it will come down to the judge's discretion.
On course now, Stephen Dingwall, Cavalier de Rouet, the horse. Stephen, a great competitor.
From Murren Bateman in the southern coastal area of New South Wales.
Had a bit of bad luck the other day where he fell on the flat in one of the jump-offs against the clock, but didn't put him off much. I've seen a lot of World Cups here. This is one of the best I've seen. This has been fantastic jumping.
Well, he's the owner of Cavalier Performance Horses, has worked professionally in the horse industry for over 16 years.
People will be able to go home from here and say they saw a tremendous international event, and it's not rugby or cricket. Have a look at that. Great riding, dead straight. Straightness, one of the most important things in show jumping. Goes for the rails.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got international viewers right now from around the world. Jess Cullen's watching us from Los Angeles. She's just written to us on our social media. Welcome to the live stream, Jess, and anyone else from around the world. Let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to give you a shout out right now on our live stream.
I'd like to say hello to my cousins in Ireland.
They're watching, are they?
Well, I hope they are.
What time of day would it be?
I think it's about 11:30 at Murphy's Bar. This has been a pearler of a ride. He's impressed me this week with his riding. He's a great competitor. Come on. Yes, that's how you do it. I reckon that's clear round number 5. To get much better than that, Adelaide.
Champagne show jumping we're watching.
Have a look at Louis, the course builder. He's smiling away. He knows he's done a superb job.
I think first time in Australia. Where else would you be but Adelaide?
Yes. It's a great place, Adelaide. And talking stallions, here's a nice horse.
I'll tell you what, one of our female competitors out here, Erin Buswell, she won't be out for another few rides, but Andrew, one of her fans, has just written in. He's watching from Singapore, so hello, Andrew. He said, go, Erin.
Yeah, well, Erin's from Singapore originally. Lived in South Australia for a few years, a great competitor, now lives in Queensland. And she's won a World Cup and ran second in one. And this horse is a lovely horse. Calgary, New Zealand. It's a New Zealand horse. And I haven't seen Matthew Kidson ride before, but I'm very, very impressed with his riding. I think he'll go a long way in the sport. A very, very nice rider. Well, a rider with world-class potential.
He started up in Mackay in Queensland as a young kid. Started out in Pony Club, where so many do, trying out all the disciplines, and he was only 11 years old when he said, show jumping's the one for me. And he's focused and been very competitive in the Queensland circuit, but also represented Australia internationally. He's now the manager and principal rider at Finch Farms. He's been there since 2011. He's there with David Finch, the EQ chair up there.
Yeah, been talking to David through the show. Loves his horses. Got some lovely horses. First saw David about 10 years ago at Elysian Fields up in Queensland when I was up there. Loves his horses. Oh, hang on, we've got a little tiny problem. The wind has blown. Oh, and he's gone the wall side and unfortunately had the wall down. And look at the course building crew. They've done a great job. Just getting out of the way in time. That's great work there. Oh, A's down, unfortunately. Nicely through the second part and third part. Yeah, the wind coming up might cause a bit of drama with that plank. Nicely over 10. Now the difficult line down to the windmill fence with the water tray under it. A's right. B's right. Oh, bad luck. He's just looked at the water tray and didn't get his fronts up enough, but it's been a pretty good round from a young horse. Had a bit of an interrupted season, this horse. Over the last, quite a good ride.
Sorry, say that slowly and loudly.
Time of 92.70. 8 jumping faults to Calgary and David Finch. On course now, Kaluna Salute and Matthew Afford. Matthew, originally from South Australia. He's got a nana and popper in Port Pirie. The Affords, they're well known. His uncle's a great trotting trainer. His uncle Dale wins a lot of trotting races in Pirie. And Matthew's won lots of World Cups, lots of Grand Prix. A great natural lightweight rider and a real natural of the job. I've watched him ride all his whole life.
Well, Andrea's watching on the live stream on YouTube at the moment. Hello, Andrea. She's having a lunch break at the moment in the Equestrian SA offices.
Oh, that's great. Great to have a lunch break and watch the World Cup. Matthew, a great rider. His grandparents might even be here. They might have even come down to watch him. I haven't seen them around, but doesn't mean they're not here, joining everybody else. Oh, bad luck. Just got a little bit strung out there, and a little bit long, and railed down for 4 faults. Nicely over the triple bar. Goes the wall side, gave it a little rub, but it stayed there. So riders choosing to jump different parts of that number 7 with the options. A's right, B's right, C's right. Very unlucky rail there at fence 5.
Well, we've got a question that's just come through on the YouTube feed, and the question is, what is the average age of these horses? And the person has commented that they have family members who used to breed pacers, and the average age for their competition was in harness racing was 4 to 6 years old. Well, I mean, the horse that you're watching out at the moment.
Good round, just the one rail, 4 faults into the second round. Yeah, some of these horses are probably older than that. They're probably from 8 to 12 to 14. Some of them a bit older. And here's the horse of the moment, and the rider of the moment. He's a pearler of a show, as Billy Raymond.
Yes, the horse that you saw out there just a moment ago was an 11-year-old. And Billy Raymond on course now.
Anton on course, owned by the Bryce and Clark family. Had a great show. Billy had about 4 wins for the show and a second. And this horse won a World Cup about a fortnight ago. Winning form is good form.
Coffee. Well, interesting question before on the YouTube feed about questions. We've got a 17-year-old mare out here that has competed just a few moments ago. Fieldbrook Karanya. We've got a 13-year-old warm blood here that'll come out with Erin Bustle on board. We've got an 11-year-old horse here that Jess Stones was on earlier. A 13-year-old with Hugh Buchanan, Diamond B. Carla. So, yeah, quite a wide spread of horses, but they do seem to mature very well.
Pretty tough track. This horse has had 2 rails down. His first 2 rails for the whole show. Bit of bad luck there.
Well, Jess Cullen's written in too, saying, I remember competing against Matt at Pony Club in Central Queensland. So go, Matt.
Heads down to the last. 8 faults into the second round. A couple of unlucky rails there to Anton. And here's the nice black warm blood mare. Time there 86.44 to Billy, well inside the time allowed. On course now Gina, New Zealand bred horse, and it's Brooks non-World Cup horse. You have to ride your World Cup horse first if you have 2 horses in the class. That's just a little technicality of the job.
Well, they last time here, this time last year, I should say, they won the overall Future Stars title at Royal Adelaide back in 2018. And earlier this year, won the Future Stars at the Sale and District Showjumping. They placed second as well. That was back in February. They placed 5th in the Grand Prix and at the South Australian Senior Championships in April this year.
Nice mare, this. Lovely colour.
Wendy Kettle, the owner.
Wendy Kettle, I think, is the New Zealand connection. Oh, good riding, good jumping. Brooke from Yarra Valley in Victoria. Oh, bad luck. Just didn't quite get the stretch. Has the back rail down for 4 faults. Bit of an unlucky rail. This has been a great competition and we've still got another round to go. I'm excited. Oh, lovely jump over the Princess Royal treble. Now the run home. Quite a tough line, this. A's right. B's right. Big fence, that. Oh, have a look. This mare's got some ability. Oh, well ridden. Just the 1 rail, just the 4 faults.
You can put your hands together, South Australia. We are seeing some phenomenal show jumping here as part of the Royal Adelaide Show World Cup qualifier. And a time of 92.96. 92.96. Well, we talked about the ages of the horses, and what about the ages of our competitors? This young lady heading out on course now, only 20 years old, Erin Buswell, a full-time university student at the University of Queensland. Last year, she was the Australian Young Rider Champion.
Yeah, I mentioned that the other day, a national champion. We've had a South Australian national champion a couple of times. Jeffrey Evans won it twice, 8 years apart, years ago. Actually, we had some fabulous national championships held here on the Adelaide Showgrounds.
Well, this is her 13-year-old warm blood you mentioned a moment ago. And
oh, he's a star, this horse. He is a beauty. He's got the nicest eye, loves his job, loves to jump. She gives him a good ride.
Well, these two have been in partnership sort of 5 or 6 years.
Don't be surprised. if he sneaks around. Can't gallop down to this. You've got to meet it from the right spot. You've got to come back and jump out of it. Oh, beautiful riding. Great jumping. You wouldn't see a better class than this anywhere in the world. This is great jumping. And Louis, the course builder, had a big rap on the Australian riders. He said they ride quite good. A's right. B's right. Come on, Cuero. Oh, he's a beauty. One to go for the little girl.
You can warm your hands up, South Australia.
Yes, she's done it.
And the crowd goes wild.
The little movie star.
A time of 90.59 the time.
Well inside the time allowed. And here's our last competitor, Laurel Glen Lucky Time and Nelson Smythe.
Another young competitor out there, only started riding when he was 13 years old, from Rockhampton in Queensland. You talk about travelling for the love of the sport. He's an electrician by trade, and he joined Olympian Ron Easy's team in his first year out of high school. He was initially coached by Ron, and then when Ron injured himself, he asked Nelson to compete on some of his horses. So these days, he professionally rides, educates, breaks and sells horses for a living. He's won the champion horse and rider at the Royal National Show in Brisbane before. And he's also been selected for the team for National Elite Young Riders. These days, he's based on the central coast of New South Wales, running that business, Laurel Glen Performance Horses. Haven't
seen much of him yet. Only competed, only jumped one round here the other day in a warm-up event. Hasn't competed at the rest of the show, but looks like he knows his stuff.
Oh, this is Nelson Smythe on course now. Laurel Glen Lucky Time, the catalogue number 723. A rail down there at the Oxer at the 5th.
Yeah, Nelson, not frightened to travel. He's come from a long way. And that's the thing that the Europeans cannot understand, how far Australians travel. To do the 14 World Cups, you have to get around a lot of the country. Big distances. Lots of diesel. A's right, B's right, C's right. He's a bit of a tradesman, Nelson. Looks like he's got the job pretty well organised. Heads down this tough line. A's right. Oh, B stayed there and then it finally went. The rails down at the water. Up and over through the finish. Time of 97.57. I reckon he's got some time faults as well. All right, I think the course will be shortened and raised for the second round of the Princess Royal World Cup qualifier. I'll go and, unfortunately, I didn't have a pen. Or I had a pen, but I had nothing to lean on to write the scores. I have to go and get them. And all right, if I leave you for a second, get
no worries at all. I'll take our viewers. There's a question that's just come through on the round 2 of the competition, when it will begin. It begins pretty much immediately. We have a short break now, a short window, but I can tell you what the course will be. The course will be jumps 6 and 7, 8, then 1, 5, the combination at 9 BC, 10, 11A, 12, and they'll finish once again at jump 13. So that'll be our round 2. That's a question that's just come in from the live stream. When will round 2 be? We'll tell you in a moment who will be in round 2. We're just getting confirmation from our officials. And we'll bring you all the action of the final for our World Cup show jumping here at the 244th Royal Adelaide Show. We'll hear a few words from our sponsors now. If you're following us on the live stream, if you're here on the grounds at the Royal Adelaide Show, enjoy the sunshine. Hope you're enjoying the atmosphere. And we are certainly watching some champagne show jumping here at the 2019 Royal Adelaide Show.
Yeah, well, don't go heading off, people, because we've got the second round underway very, very shortly. We'll go straight on with it. And what I can tell you is the horse with the least amount of faults over the 2 rounds and the quickest time will be declared the winner. And looking at the horses we've got in this class, I'm pretty sure that we'll have some horses with 0 faults and very good times.
Let's celebrate the state.
The people.
The magic.
The memories.
The bright lights and high rides.
The sparkling eyes.
Over 2 full weekends.
The Royal Adelaide Show. The show of a lifetime. Free purchase tickets and save. theshow.com.au.
It's a fantastic show this year. Love it.
We come over to the Adelaide Show here every year.
I'm really excited to be competing today.
So we're about to start a bit of a course walk for the jump off. And what they do, they start over the big triple bar on the other side, fence 6, then run down to the optional wall where they can jump either the brick wall or the rails. So a short and raised course. Then we go to fence 8, which is
I think there's double audio.
by the outside fence. From fence 8, we go to fence 1, which is here, which has been put up. Then to fence 5, over yonder. Then we go to 9, B and C. So an interesting turn there, a left-hand turn from 5 to 9, B and C, which is a 2-strider. Then we go to back here over fence 10. Then we go to 11A, over here the Crow's fence, down to the Princess Royal windmill fence and tank fence, and around to the last fence on the far side, which is quite a formidable fence. It's gone up quite a bit. Will be a very, very tough track for the second round. Rules for the competition are simple. The horse with the least amount of faults in the quickest time over after the second round will be declared the winner, and some of the riders will carry faults forward from the first round. So it's possible if all the riders that had clear rounds had a rail and the riders that had a rail went clear, the penalties will be decided by, or the placings will be decided by time, but that's highly unlikely. With 6 clear rounds, I reckon a double clear round will win the class. Who thinks a double clear round will win the class? Put your hand up. Yes, very good. That's what I reckon as well.
If we look back through the history books, Tad McLean, there have been some extraordinary wins out here. 10 years ago, Cayuna Ted was our champion horse underneath Becky Allen from Victoria. They'd had several wins in the lead up to that, and that year the course was designed by our New Zealand course designer then, Garrett Becker. South Australia's Wendy Schaefer was the runner-up. Of course, the 1996 Olympic eventing gold medalist. In 2010, our winner out here was Da Vinci's Pride, ridden by Kathy Graham from Helidon Spa. And second that year was Brooke Dobbin, who's out competing here this year. Back in 2010, he was runner-up on Advisor. In 2011, it was Cal Tango, the first of many wins for Tim Clark. Well, Tim and Ingrid Clark and Jackie Cox and Carthago ran second. In 2012, it was the West Australians that drove all the way over and took out first and second place. Canadian course designer Peter Holmes put on a really big course that year for bold jumpers with lots of twisty turns and really tested their suppleness. But it was Alison Rowland from Western Australia riding Bickley Brook Bianca who won in 2012. And the second place was also a Western Australian that year, Rory Hovell and Yalambis Valdezir. South Australia came in third in 2012 with Christy Bruin, who we saw out here today, unfortunately had a retirement. And the next year, it was Tim Clark and Cal Tango once again, who from 2011 came back 2 years later, picked up the win. We had a UK course designer, Peter Gillespie, that year. 2013 was the year also for Cal Tango and Tim Clark.
Yeah, Timmy Clark kept us entertained for quite a few years with that Cal Tango. Fabulous grey horse, used to leap in the air, and absolutely brilliant jumper, and had us on the edge of our seats. A great competitor, Tim, and comes from a great riding family. He a super duper jockey, very, very exciting rider. One year he won the state junior championship and the senior championship on the same day.
Just extraordinary. And 2015 we had Chris Chugg out here. He's currently leading the point score for the World Cup. He was on Sarah Casiago that year. 2016 was the first time that Clint Beresford and Emmaville Jitterbug came through and had their big win here at Royal Adelaide Show. They won it again last year. Not here to compete this year. They were at Condobolin show last weekend where I was in Western New South Wales. So we're so grateful for the wonderful support that our show jumpers give to lovely little country shows all over the nation. And the year before last, it was the wonderfully talented rider James Arkins and Da Vinci's Pride, who had won here previously under a different rider. And Victorian Georgia Price was second in 2017.
So, shorten and raise course. The time will be up on the screen on the corner of the big screen. And horses with 8 faults or less, I believe, are coming back for the second round. But we've got quite a few horses with a clear round.
Well, we probably should let our viewers at home and here at the Royal Adelaide Show know what the jumping order will be for the jump off. The first out will be Bryony Tempe and Fieldbrook
Karanya. Karanya will be first. Second will be Anton.
And Billy Raymond. Third rider out will be Brooke Dobbin and Gina MVNZ. Our fourth rider out will be Adam Metcalf on Aston. And our first rider, in fact, is out on course now. That'll be Bryony Tempe and Fieldbrook Karanya.
Yep, fifth rider will be Matthew Afford. Sixth, Jess Stones. And
our seventh rider out will be Erin Buswell and Quero. Our eighth rider will be Reece Stones and Talara Colmar. Ninth will be Stephen Dingwall and Cavalier de Roux. Our 10th rider out today will be Russell Johnston and Dupreece. 11th rider out will be James Harvey and Tyrone Video. And our final rider out today will be Jessica Pateman and Celso.
Oh, and bad luck there for Bryony Karanya, not liking the look of the big fence 7. Not at all happy with that. I was about to say that even with 2 rails down, with no more further faults and a quick round, she could get a placing, but that's unfortunate there, elimination from the competition.
Well, Billy Raymond will be our next rider out on course.
Billy will be trying to go clear in a quick time and hopefully sneak into the placings.
Well, they've just come off the back of a huge win at the thrilling Waratah World Cup held in Sydney only last month.
Billy, a great rider. Been overseas to the World Cup final.
Well, Billy's currently ranked second in the Australian standings. He's on 36 points so far, just behind Chris Chugg on 45.
And he went for the wall that time. Brave riding. Anton had a bit of a look at it, but he left the ground. This will make it interesting. If he goes clear, really puts the pressure on the riders following him. Only 2 places to ride from in show jumping, early or late. You're in the middle, you can be in a bit of strife. A's right. Oh, no, it's not. Unfortunately, just a little rub there. The rail came out of the Princess Royal fence. Billy going the short way. Hits the wide open spaces, galloping along. Oh, another rail down. Up and over the last. Time of 63.21.
Yes, put your hands together, South Australia, and if you're watching at home, send us your comments, your questions, your thoughts. Who are you getting behind here in the round 2 of the Royal Adelaide Show World Cup? Well, the elegant black mare is making her way out into the course now. Gina MVNZ. Brooke Dobbin on board. They won the Future Stars title here at Royal Adelaide in 2018.
Anton and Billy did a great job jumping the wall side. A shortened and raised course, proving very testing. Billy on 16 faults for the 2 rounds, time of 63.21. Brooke on his way over the first. Only has
well, interestingly, the dam of this mare also produced Premier Crew, who competed in the Sydney Olympics for Bulgaria.
I think he's only had 1 rail from the first round, jumping clear at the moment. A's right, B's right. This has been good. It's been a great ride from Brooke. 1 to go. He'll go into the lead.
Well, South Australia, you can get your hands ready.
Bold ride, up and over. Oh, great ride. 67 seconds.
67 flat, that's the time. Next rider out is a young man, Adam Metcalf. He's been competing here at the Royal Adelaide Show since he was a little one. And this horse, Aston, is by Anton and out of a Belcam Gambler and Sky High mare.
So out in front, we have Brooke Dobbin and Gina, 4 faults, 67 seconds. Another 4 faulter from the first round. Now, to go into the lead, he has to go clear in this round, quicker than 67 seconds. This horse bred out at Malala Equestrian Centre by the Clark and Bryce family. Lazy wind blowing up here now.
Peter Graham, the owner.
Oh, jumps the wall side. That seems to be the perfect pick now because it gets you so that you can do a sharp right-hand turn. Tough fence this, a vertical in the middle of the course. Nicely over that. Deep to fence 5. Now the Princess Royal double. He's cut in short. A's right. B's right. Now the run home. Oh, well ridden there. Met it perfect. 3 fences to go from home. Oh, good horse. Did a great job there to leave that fence up. Heads down to the last. Up and over. 67, 66, 64. New leader.
Well, the young ones are coming out here and going faster and harder than ever. And speaking of young competitors, our next competitor out is Matthew Afford, formerly from South Australia, now based in Queensland. Kaluna Salute placed second here last year behind Clint Beresford and Emmaville Jitterbug. They were 4th in Gatton last month in the World Cup qualifier there. He's also ridden another Kaluna horse to great success in World Cup qualifiers before, Kaluna Thunderstruck. But here he's on, the 14-year-old grey gelding. Kaluna Salute.
And with those fast 4 folders, that means that the riders that are clear can't afford a rail in the second round. And if they do, they have to have the times covered of the riders with the 4 faults. So tactics are a very big part of this. Matthew on his way. Down to the big triple bar. Up and over. Goes the bricks. Great jump. That's a big fence. Oh, bit of a... Yeah, horse not real happy at the corner there, unfortunately. Gives him 4 for a refusal. Time ticking away. Makes things very hard now for Maddie Afford. And Kaluna Salute. Oh, A's down. Going to make it hard now. He's had a further 4 penalties. He'll probably go over the time allowed as well, I'd imagine. Oh, another rail. And a nice jump over the last. I don't think young Maddie will be in the placings of the Princess Rail World Cup competition.
Well, this young lady out on course now represents J&R Equestrian, the establishment she runs, the stable she runs with her husband Reese, Jess Stones.
And Jess also carries the 1 rail, the 4 penalties from the first round. Then I believe we go into the clear rounds. Jess looks an absolute picture as she heads down to the first fence. She'll try and go round penalty free quicker than 66.64 to go into the lead.
Well, they made it to the second round here last year, but they took out on the 11th place. They'll be looking to improve on that this year. Diamond v Vermont.
That was a good turn. Has a plan. This show jumping has been something else here at the show of a lifetime. Princess Royal double. A's right. B's right. Just gave the horse a little bit of verbal encouragement. Wants to keep it on the job. Now can get over the country, get over the ground, this horse. 3 left to jump. Up and over. Oh, what a flyer at the big rustic fence. Huge fence.
Well, Adelaide, if you're holding your breath like I am.
Oh, she's had the last. Gives her 8 from the 2 rounds. At this stage, that puts her in 3rd place.
68.25 the time, 68.25 the time. And the wonderful thing, or one of the wonderful things about show jumping, it is one of the few sports in the world where women and men compete on equal footing. And speaking of fantastic young women coming through the competition, Jess Stones has just finished her round now, but this is Erin Buswell, a 20-year-old full-time university student at the University of Queensland.
And has 0 faults to carry from the first round. So get ready, Adelaide. If she goes around with 0 in this round or 4 faster than 66.64, she will be in the lead. I would reckon that a double clear will win the class, but we'll soon find out. Very, very attractive horse. This just pings off of the ground. He is a real beauty, Quero Quero. She's got fans in Singapore, fans in South Australia, where she lived for a while, and fans in Queensland. Oh, look at that. Flies the first. Oh, bad luck. She took the rail option and she's had a rail down. Now she has to go into the lead. She's got to go quicker than 66.64. Which she can do. He's quite a quick horse. It's whether she wants to do it or not. That is the question. Oh no, and another rail. So it's not going to happen. when you're riding against the clock, things can go wrong very fast. Look at him through the double. As sweet as you like. I could watch him all day. He's a trier. Look at this. Gallops in. Up and over. Gives me the impression he can read the numbers. He's right. Look at this. Massive fence. Gets it at the gallop. Heads down to the last. Haven't got the time on the clock, unfortunately. Four faults. We'll have to get the time.
Could I have the time on that, please? 76.10, meaning one-time penalty for Aaron Buswell. 76.10 was the time.
Oh, so that makes it tough for her now. That gives her 5 faults.
Well, this will be the lovely Bay Warm Blood heading out now. Talara Colmar. Reese Stone's the ride on board.
On his way. 0 penalties from the first round. Nice entire, nice stallion, nicely over the first. Goes the rails, didn't go the wall. That'll give him a nicer track to this big fence. Quite a tough fence this out on its own. The vertical. He's jumping good, this horse. Looks like he's enjoying himself. Up and over 5. A's right. B's right. Gets the turn. Three to go. Time's good. Oh, he's had it down, but I think he's up on the clock. Heading to the last. Up and over. Through the finish. 64.19 goes into the lead, even with the rail down.
Well, we just had a question come through on our YouTube asking the time allowed, and time allowed is 74 seconds. 74 seconds.
On course now, also clear from the first round, Cavalier Derouet and Stephen Dingwall. Now,
David Everingham asking that question there. My apologies, Tad.
Oh, that's all right, David Everingham. Good on you, Dave. Thanks for calling in. Stephen Dingwall, clear, 0 faults from the first round.
Travelled from Murren Bateman, where they have Cavalier Performance horses. A very successful show jumping stable.
You know what happens if one of these are clear from the... Oh, no. He's had a rail. So time will come into it. Can't afford another one. It's got to be quicker than 64.19 to go into the lead.
Well, this 9-year-old gelding is one of the many fantastic show jumpers they have in the stables there at Cavalier Performance Horses.
Oh, nicely ridden. Oh, he's galloped that fence. Got to be quicker than 64.19. I reckon he's done it. No. Oh, good enough for second.
64.84 the time.
64.84, nothing in it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got some fantastic young riders coming out here, 20-year-olds, people that have travelled from all over. And this is one of the legends of the sport, though. Russell Johnston, Dupreece.
Only 3 riders left to jump. And the 3 of those have clear rounds.
Well, last month they placed second at the Goulburn Valley Showjumping Grand Prix Indoor Classic at Tatura. And this is Gregor McCann's Dutch-bred horse, selected in the Netherlands. Won the Aquas Grand Prix last year.
Gregor, a great supporter of show jumping. And Russell, a rider I've admired for many years. His horses just go nice and soft. He likes his horses. They like the way he rides them. He's got a real method that he sticks to, and horses like his method, like the way he rides. An Olympian. One day many years ago, I thought he rode at Los Angeles, but it was Atlanta. There was a few years difference. He won't mind me saying he's a veteran, a great rider. Love to see him go into the lead with a double clear. Wouldn't we, Adelaide?
Well, if you're new to the world of World Cup show jumping, you'll notice that we've come into the second round of our competition with fewer competitors. They had to qualify. We only took 12 through out of the whole field. Now, to qualify, we took the 12 who had gone with their cleanest or clearest and fastest rounds with the fewest faults around this course. And we actually run them in reverse order in terms of their success. So we're now getting to the real cream of the crop from round 1. Those who went clear and went very fast around the course the first time.
Yeah, well, this is the rider that jumped the first clear round of the class. And I'd love to see him do it again. Oh. He has a plan. That's how you jump a vertical, the height of the fence from the fence. Nice and straight, dead straight over the middle. Straightness, very, very important thing. A's right. B's right. Now the run home. Huge fence this. Huge fence. Oh, he gets a flyer. 1 to go. I'm holding my breath. He's done it. Into the lead. Russell J. RJ, Russell Johnstone. What a fantastic ride. What a fantastic horse, Adelaide. Come on, give him a bit more applause. Fantastic. I was going to say he's riding as good as I've seen him ride in the last 20 years. He's doing a great job.
Well, there's a big smile on his face too there, Russell Johnston, just delighted with that ride there. And he's a little offended by your ageism, I think.
He's doing a great job.
Well, we go now to the second last of our competitors. This is the business end of the World Cup. James Harvey comes to us from the beautiful Yarra Valley, about an hour east of Melbourne. He's the horse dentist. He has a busy horse stud as well and training facility managed by his wife Bronwyn and their great team of staff and riders. And this horse, Tyrone VDL from the Netherlands, bought as a 2-year-old out here by Des Russell, has sired numerous foals but is now a gelding. And James secured the ride on Tyrone 3 years ago, and they have made a beautiful partnership together. This is their second season competing at a World Cup level.
And he's going well. I got that excited. I didn't get Russell's time, but he's in the lead, double clear. A's right. B's right. He's looking good. Oh, nice jump there. 3 real important fences coming up. This is a massive vertical, metre 60. Oh, bad luck. He's had it down. So now time comes into it. Jumps the last. 63.28.
I can also bring you Russell's time from the previous round, 68.28. 68.28 was the time for our leading rider so far, Russell Johnston.
And 63.28 there to James Harvey and 4 faults. I reckon that makes him the quickest of the 4 folders.
Well, our last rider out on course, this talented young lady, Bryony Tenby.
Jessica Pateman, it is.
Yep.
Riding.
Easy. All right, cool. Cheers. Bye.
Riding Kelso. I reckon she's, I think she's had a rail down over there. I'm not sure. Did you see that?
My apologies, Jessica Pateman on course now, the young lady who's not only talented out on the racetrack, but here in the show jumping arena as well. A Grand Prix and World Cup show jumper, renowned for her ability in educating and producing fantastic show jumping horses through to the top level.
This is great round, this. Right on the pace. Heads down to the finish. Up and over. Oh, look at the time. 62.89.
Well, we'll get our official results in a few moments' time. And in the interim, we're going to hear a few words on the live stream from our sponsors. Boys and girls in the audience, enjoy the sunshine here at the 244th Royal Adelaide Show. And if you're joining us online, we'll be back to you with the presentation in a few moments.
Let's celebrate the state.
The people.
The magic.
The memories.
The bright lights and high rides.
The sparkling eyes.
Over 2 full weekends.
The Royal Adelaide Show. The show of a lifetime. Free purchase tickets and save. theshow.com.au.
It's a fantastic show this year. Love it.
We come over to the Adelaide show here every year.
I'm really excited to be competing today.
Well, a very good welcome to you once again if you're joining us on our live stream. And we've got a few moments now until our presentation of the World Cup here, brought to us by Princess Royal Station, a wonderful family business dating back to 1845, a proud institution here and the long-time partners of our World Cup Royal Adelaide show jumping event. Tad McLean, we have the results at hand.
How was that, Adelaide? What a great win. Double clear to Russell Johnstone and McCann's nomination to Priest. Fabulous. Only double clear of the competition. 0 faults in each round. You won't get better jumping than that around the world. What a fantastic competition, the Princess Royal Prize. A great competition. Second place,
Jessica Pateman and Celso.
What a great ride. Like, she's always right on the pace. Jess had the fastest time of the competition.
Third to James Harvey and Tyrone VDL.
Yep. The Northern Irish horse. Fourth, Reece Stones.
And to Lara Colmar. Fifth place to Stephen Dingwall and Cavalier Daru.
Yep.
Sixth place today to Adam Metcalf on Aston. Seventh place to Brooke Dobbin and Gina MVNZ. And our eighth place today to the J&R Equestrian Stables as well, Jess Stones.
Jess Stones. So the Stones have done really, really well. What a great competition.
We're going to make the presentation shortly of our Princess Royal Station World Cup show jumping event here. And Councillor Hamish Findlay is joining us at the presentation in a moment. But as we're waiting for our riders to come out and the presentation to be made, Hamish, I wonder if you could tell us a bit about what you really enjoyed this year so far at the Royal Adelaide Show.
Well, what I probably most enjoyed was that World Cup that just went on. Princess Royal Station, our wonderful sponsors, I think you were going to ask me what I knew about that. Well, what I'm looking for is actually Simon Rowe, who was our sponsor, and he's going to be coming out in a minute to do the presentation. But Princess Royal is one of the oldest pastoral properties in South Australia, just out of Burra in South Australia, north of Adelaide. And it's a massive aggregation of about, probably these days, nearly 10 different properties, 2 being stations in the Flinders Ranges. They would run, I think, well in the excess of 100,000 cattle, which they do a lot of backgrounding. They have 2 feedlots, up to 20,000 cattle comprising of in those 2, and they're massive traders in Australia. So they buy cattle in the north of Australia, background it, bring it down, put it into the feedlots, and a lot of the that meat is under contract, EU, and going overseas. The Rowe family have held Princess Royal for probably, to take a bit of an estimate, 25 years, something like that. And they had just continued to develop it in what it is today, an absolute masterpiece of rural Australia.
Indeed, and a great opportunity to recognise them for their contribution, their partnership with this event. It is a preeminent show jumping event, and one that certainly we've been very proud to. I tried to go through the record books, by the way, and figure out how long we've been running the World Cup qualifier here. I found it was at least 33 years.
Yes, it was. It started, if it is 33 years ago, and our first sponsor was Robert Rowe, fondly known as Bob Rowe, and that was Simon's father. I should have mentioned that Simon and his wife Andrea were wonderful show jumping competitors themselves, and when, like all things, come to an end with age, they continued what was now the family tradition of sponsoring this event. And it should be also worth noting that some of the magnificent fences here today are actually provided by the Rowe family. They have them designed, they are special, they are world standard, and I should add that they're certainly not inexpensive. So it's a wonderful contribution, and if I can be a little bit preemptive, I think that the Rowe family are going to continue to do it until this World Cup course would definitely be recognised as one of the best in the world.
Well, speaking of world-class things, we have an international audience right now on our live stream. We've got viewers from the US, we've got viewers from Singapore. We've been having shout-outs throughout the entire competition. But I thought I might talk about the world record that Royal Adelaide holds, 244 continuous years of running this show. Now, if you do the maths, we started our first show in 1860, I believe, and there's not been 244 years in between then and now. How is it possible that we are the longest-running continuous show in the world? world.
Yeah, for many years we actually had 2 royal shows in one year. So we'd have a spring and an autumn show, and that suited a lot of livestock in the day, because remember that livestock was used primarily in those days as a function. Today it's more of a sport. So people that owned a horse would actually get from A to B in a horse. If it was a mare, they would breed. So it wasn't appropriate for them to be showing say, at this time of the year. So I think, I can't remember exactly when we stopped, but that's how we get that extra 60 royal shows that we've got today. But we also have been having an April show, we call it an autumn show, for just breed stock. I think we started that, roughly 6-7 years ago. So we've been adding to that compilation, yeah.
Well, Councillor Hamish Finlay, thank you so much for having a chat to us here today. We do hope to catch Simon Rowe in just a moment and have a bit of a chat with him too. And the wonderful ground crew here that support us all. You can see they're watering the track at the moment. But we also have exceptional stewards here. They're all equine enthusiasts themselves. They use their expertise and their knowledge, and they come out here as stewards for the 10 days of the Royal Adelaide Show. And we've had a wonderful couple of days leading up to our World Cup. Tad McLean, we're going to have our presentation in a few moments' time, but you've competed here over many, many years, and I think I tried to embarrass you earlier by saying you're one of the few competitors that had 3 clear rounds in a World Cup, but it's a huge moment for riders, isn't it, to come out here?
Oh yeah, there's riders in Australia that of the real old school that aren't real fond of the World Cups, but I reckon they're a fantastic thing. They've kept the standard up, and the prize money is exceptional. The prestige is good, and it's just a great event. And you know that you're jumping tracks like people are jumping elsewhere in the world. So, Australians are very good at sport, and they're world class in show jumping.
Well, we're currently packing up the course at the moment so that we can do our presentation at a royal standard. That'll be out here in a few moments' time. In the interim, we're going to hear a few words from our sponsors.
Celebrate the state.
The people.
The magic.
The memories.
The bright lights and high rides.
The sparkling eyes.
Over 2 full weekends.
The Royal Adelaide Show. The show of a lifetime. Free purchase tickets and save. theshow.com.au.
It's a fantastic show this year, love it.
We come over to the Adelaide Show here every year.
I'm really excited to be competing today.
And a great win there to Russell Johnston and DePriest. I watched him the whole show, and I must say, mate, I've never seen you ride better.
Thanks, Daddy. I've had a bit of practice over the years. Look, I'd just like to thank the sponsors for the class. It's an absolute thrill to come over here and win a World Cup. I must thank the owners of the horse, the McCanns. They've really done the right thing by us. It's a pleasure riding for them. They always put the horses first, and I'm absolutely thrilled to keep on riding. And I'd like to thank the horse. He's been out for 12 months. He's pretty hard to replace. He's an exceptional little horse, and we missed him a lot, so we're glad to have him back.
Well, if you've just joined us here on the live stream, we've just been hearing from Russell Johnson and Dupreece, the winner of the 2019 World Cup, brought to us by Princess Royal Station. We can see Simon Rowe making the presentation now of the magnificent ribbon. The garland is coming around to Dupreece and Russell Johnson, our only double clear round.
And every now and again a horse has a bit of a chew of the garland as it goes on. We've seen that happen before. Just watch the back end of him. They tell me he's a little bit playful when he gets awarded things. And fabulous ribbon and fabulous presentation there from Princess Royal. And Jess Pateman did a fantastic job to ride into second on Kelso. She's had a great show. A very, very multi-talented young lady. Jess developing into one of the most consistent riders in the country. Third place, James Harvey. Tyrone VDL. James has ridden very, very well all show. Fourth, Reece Stones. Talara Colmar, the horse, the galloping stallion.
Well, Simon Rowe, who making the presentations, I'm going to grab you with a microphone. I threatened that I'd do that earlier. You've had a wonderful relationship here with the World Cup, and the family's all here to make the presentation today.
Yes, that's correct.
Fifth place there to Stephen Dingwall.
Excellent day.
Cavalier de Rouet.
The riding, the jumping.
Rode very, very well.
You couldn't get it actually any better.
Now, we've had a magnificent time here. We have to thank you for those brilliant jumps as well. The family have got a long passion for show jumping.
Definitely. I had a crack at it for a fair while, and my wife, and it brought us a lot of pleasure in the early years, so why not support it now?
And my last question for you, the name, Princess Royal. Tell us about it.
Princess Royal was named after Queen Victoria's first daughter, which is the Princess Royal, in 1845.
And the property dates back, or the properties date back to 1845. Your family, custodians of that land now, and a wonderful enterprise with your Angus breeding operations, your lambs, your organic wine, and a lot of other wonderful agricultural products as well.
Oh, that's correct. It's just what we do.
Well, I'll let you go and make these presentations. Thank you for having a chat to us, Simon Rowe from Princess Royal Station.
And sixth place, MEC Aston and Adam Metcalf. Seventh to Brooke Dobbin on Gina. And in eighth place, Jess Stones, keeping it in the family. The J&R Equestrian nomination, Diamond B, Vermont. You're a little bit unlucky to have that rail, mate. I've wrapped in how your horse has jumped for the whole show. You've ridden very well and very consistently. You feel like you were just a bit unlucky today?
Yeah, mate, I was a little bit upset with myself down that line. I could have helped him out a little bit more, but, mate, it's only his third World Cup and he's only an 8-year-old rising 9 this year. I'm stoked with him. I couldn't be happy.
Well, that, given his age, and that's his third World Cup, that was a pretty solid track. And I've been to the final and had a look at it, and that was a pretty solid track, and you'd have to be very happy with him.
Yeah, no, it's as tough as any track in Australia. That track was good size. The footing's fantastic over here, so that's why there's such great jumping. And, no, it's very, very happy with him, and well done to all the other competitors.
And what was it like when you broke your collarbone and then you rode 10 days later?
Yeah, well, I broke my left side and there wasn't much steering going to the left anyway. Lucky most of the course went to the right, so, yeah, I was lucky on that one.
Yeah, not only are you mentally tough, you're physically tough as well, mate. A great competitor.
Well, we've had the wonderful voice of Tad McLean bringing us our show jumping here today, and what a moment we've had out here with the 244th Royal Adelaide Show. Russell Johnson and Dupreece, you can see in the background here, our winners this year of the World Cup qualifier. Jess Pateman and Celsi taking out the red ribbon here today. Absolutely magnificent. We have seen some champagne show jumping here at the Royal Adelaide Show. We're going to be bringing you on the live stream to the Animal Nursery this afternoon, so we're going to change things up a little bit. But as our riders make their way out of the main arena, boys and girls that are here live on the grounds at the Royal Adelaide Show, show them your appreciation. Our wonderful World Cup place getters here, and Russell Johnson and Dupreece, our winners for 2019.
Let's celebrate the state.
The people.
The magic.
The memories.
The bright lights and high rides.
The sparkling eyes.
Over 2 full weekends.
The Royal Adelaide Show. The show of a lifetime. Free purchase tickets and save. theshow.com.au